BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe. It is week 513. Yeah, I had a look. 513, because I'm doing this review way beforehand, man. This, how many weeks before? Sort of getting out ahead of myself a little bit. But it is week 513. I do believe this is the week that will come right before theme week, which is my theme, which is College Horror Volume 2, I believe. Could be Volume 1. I forget. I am not feeling good right now. I apologize, but I really got this fresh in my head and really just want to knock it out as best as I can. But we are talking The Legend of Hell House, directed by John Hough. It's 1973. Just an absolutely incredible film for those who perhaps maybe have never seen it, like me till now. If I have, it's been so long I don't remember, so I just count this as a first time view. But knowing that I was rolling into The Conjuring, I really wanted to follow it up with a haunted house type movie, and so, you know, The Legend of Hell House is a title that continually comes up on my periphery, and I finally just went and looked, you know, how much is this going to be, and found it the Scream Factory edition on Amazon for only, I want to say, under $15. Scream Factory, and what a really, look at this artwork is absolutely insane. Why couldn't Evil Dead Rise? They should have just copied that. It would have been way phenomenally much more better. So John Hough, if you don't know him, I have to credit him for probably scaring the absolute wits out of me with a movie that wasn't even scary, but he directed Escape to Witch Mountain, 75. I saw that in the theater. I was only 5 years old. Knowing that he directed it, we revisited. I showed it to my kids, my little ones, and I'm going to tell you right from the beginning title sequence, seeing I think it was the blue against black silhouettes of the orphans. I started having, man, incredible flashbacks of sitting in that movie theater at 5, being completely freaked out just by that. I'm sure once the movie started, I calmed down. But I remember that. Isn't that the weirdest thing, what you remember? I was like 5. Saw Jaws that year, too. I don't know. It's so weird what you remember. But, and so same director, worked with Disney quite a bit. Also, well, The Watcher in the Woods, but... and I think the follow-up to Escape to Witch Mountain, Return to Witch Mountain, I believe, a couple years after. But he also was known for American Gothic and The Incubus in 81 there. What? I don't know if this is the right word, and I really don't care at the moment because I just feel like crap. I do believe this is what you would refer to as an ensemble cast. If that's where not one person stands out in front of anyone else, really. And it is a phenomenal cast. It's a pretty tight, small cast, actually. We got I do believe it is Roland Culver who plays Mr. Dunwhich, who is a millionaire who has just bought this property, the legendary Hell House, which its owner, Belasco, it's the Belasco house, mansion, whatever. He was sort of like your modern day Marquis de Sade. His indulgences knew no bounds, and as a result, apparently, infested or created an infestation, manifestation, and ultimately a possessive quality of this house that would gain for itself the notoriety of just being called Hell House. The last time a whole group of people were there trying to figure things out, like 20, I want to say like 27 died. And then it was just boarded up, sealed up for the longest time, decades. And then this millionaire buys it up, and it seeks out, what's his name? I'm having to look. Clive Revill. I've got to say this right now or I will forget because I didn't write it down. Clive Revill, if you did not know this, in 1980 was the voice, the legendary initial voice of the Emperor from The Empire Strikes Back. once the special editions came, and of course once you rolled into Return of the Jedi, Ian McDonald, was that his name? Would be horrible if I mess that up. His voice would be used, but I didn't know a different guy was the Emperor in 80. I mean, obviously everyone knows about Vader, but I didn't realize the Emperor had a different voice. That's interesting. But it's this Clive Revill and his on-screen wife, Gayle Hunnicutt, who plays Anne. So the Barrett's Dr. Barrett. He doesn't even want to bring her along because he knows, not that he looks at this house in the same way as these mediums do. He sees it differently, although he does see a quality that could be extremely dangerous about the house. It's not about surviving personalities as much as it is built up negative energy that can be manipulated and controlled by someone to hurt others, say. And so he has built a device that theoretically can deal with this energy. But anyway, so Clive Revill's character is grabbed by this millionaire and offered a chance of a lifetime, really, to go into this mansion with a select few others, which includes Roddy McDowall, which is so freaking awesome. And he plays the only surviving person to ever live through a stay at this legendary Hell House. And I gotta say, Roddy McDowall's freaking awesome. But man, for me, maybe personally, I think the standout here is Pamela Franklin, man. I think I'm really new to her, but I was looking at her filmography, man, and she really reminds me of Jill Banner from Spider Baby. Man, I'm telling you, Pamela Franklin, man, steals the show in this movie. She is so stinking, just unreal to watch. When she starts being possessed by the son of Belasco, so-called. I'm not going to go into the end and how things sort of play themselves out. If you've never seen The Legend of Hell House, I'm telling you, you really need to see this movie. This movie is really worth it. And I will say this too. It was, I watched it twice. Once initially without subtitles, but the second viewing I had the subtitles on, because there is a bit of stuff, unless you're working with a really nice sound system and you have it jacked up and no other distractions, you may catch most of it. But I noticed with the subtitles, there's voices from the house when they start, when they start going after, say, Pamela Franklin's character, Florence Tanner, and Roddy McDowall's character is Ben Fisher. And Peter Bowles is in this movie early on. He is the standout in a Space 1999 episode. I'm trying to think now. Of course, I didn't write it down. I just thought about this after the fact. He is like the Lucifer character. They find him imprisoned inside of an asteroid, and unknowingly bring him back to their place, not knowing what he is and what he's going to do. I'm telling you, it's easily one of the standout, I'm trying to remember the name of it, standout episodes of Space 1999. I know I made a huge deal about it when I reviewed that back when I was in the midst of the Space 1999 series that I did. Peter Bowles, just an incredible actor, but just a small role here. And there is a surprise. I'll leave it. I won't say who it is, but there is a surprise. I'm not going to call it a cameo. It's important to the end of the film. But Pamela Franklin, man, she just wow. I had a hard time just keep my eyes off her, actually. And so, anyways, the millionaire wants to know, is there life after death? And so it's up to Clive Revill's character, Dr. Barrett, to ascertain these types of facts. This is all this guy wants, man. He wants to know, is there life after death? Is there existence? So there's this sort of, this tension amongst everyone else in the room, and him, in terms of, is this a surviving personality that is infesting this house, possessing this house, manipulating, controlling, or is this just built up negative energy because of all the crap that's happened in this house, or whatever it may have come from. So there's this interesting tension. I might not have really seen that kind of tension built up since maybe The Exorcist, which really will come right after this movie, actually. And so it's interesting at that early period of time, the tension that was being built up between the spiritual world and science, or reason, materialism. And so there is that interesting tension, and it really mostly is, well, not mostly, but much of it is between Roddy McDowall's character, the surviving, the only survivor to ever make it through Hell House. In fact, he makes a pronouncement at some point in the movie to remind or to say to Dr. Barrett's character, look, guy, I was the only one who survived, and with my sanity intact the first time, I will be the only one this time. And so there's this built tension, right? Dude, this movie rocks, man. This movie is it is a slow burn, so-called. But I am more and more being sucked into films where some people it may be a challenge, just because it takes a while for things to build up. The atmosphere, shooting location, the cinematography by I didn't write his name down. Hughes, I think is his name. Alan Hughes, maybe is. I hope I'm right. But he did like Life Force for Hooper, Return of the Jedi for Richard Marquand, and he worked for Marquand also on The Legacy. And a lot of experimentation with handheld cameras and stuff, and so there's a really, in terms of the cinematography, there's a lot to behold here in terms of how they approach this film. Based on Richard Matheson's original novel Hell House, he adapted his own novel to the screenplay, I don't know, man. I was really, I don't usually buy movies like this, but it was under $15. It was Screen Factory release. The movies continually come up on my periphery, and wanting to follow up The Conjuring with something like this, I thought, you know what, this is the time. I need to just snatch this. I did a little investigating beforehand, and by the way, I'm going to drop a link to Monster Kid Radio, who did a phenomenal podcast on this film. If you want to do a deep dive, far grander than just my few words here, I'll drop the link down there to that. Again, it will be via Spotify, so I'm sure you could find it somewhere else. So, I think that the standout sequence to me was the attack on Dr. Barrett. That to me, the house is referred to as the Mount Everest of haunted houses. Well, the attack on Dr. Barrett might be the Mount Everest of attacks, psychic attack or telekinetic spiritual attack. That attack is freaking awesome. And to think, man, this is so far before CGI, that they did all of this practical, hands-on, just creating things. It was pretty amazing. I think I love the fireplace aspect of that. The fire tries to consume him, misses him, but stays on the carpet. It's just, falling chandeliers, the atmosphere. They were lucky enough, first day of shooting, to actually get this mansion that they shoot at. It was encompassed or entombed in its own mist, and they got the shot down before the sun came up and took the mist away. So, a lot of good fortune went along with this filmmaker in terms of just getting us a really great looking film, a very atmospheric film, and one that I've heard really stands at a unique moment in time of those more well-mannered films and what was about to be unleashed on us. And if you know, it was 74, I think, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, things are about to be unleashed that are just going to be mind-bending. This is sort of like that moment where, it subtly kind of shows us some things, and yet then again, it holds back. It's I don't know. It's just, man, it's just interesting. It really is. this is well worth the purchase. If what I've already said, maybe it's enough to hook you, you don't have this in collection, grab this off Amazon for less than $15. It's a Screen Factory release. There's an interview with the director, radio spots, trailer, I think. It's not fully loaded by any stretch, but well worth just under $15 for this. The Legend of Hell House. And I'm thinking the next month, first week of September, I'm really thinking about this. I just kind of got this thing going out. So anyways, next week, College Horror Volume 2. I want to say it's Volume 2, could be Volume 1. And anyways, Splatter University. I so cannot wait to revisit this thing. Anyway, so with all that said, we always end these things off with Go Bills.